Netflix did release the trailer of their Vince McMahon documentary. It was really good to the point where it's gonna be must watch viewing that day,
I
to me.
I think one of the more interesting aspects of it is how Vince was a willing participant in this, at least for most of it. I assume once shit hit the fan, he had already, you know, was
He gave his
done.
interviews. He gave
Yeah.
his interviews.
Yeah. So it's like he wasn't
Yeah.
there to talk about that, obviously, and legally, I don't think he would be able to anyway. But I do think that it's interesting because I imagine he didn't come into this project thinking that it was going to end up being what it has become. Like it was probably going to be more of a biographical type of thing about how he achieved so much success, and maybe there's going to be talk, of course, of a lot of the controversies that he dealt with. Obviously, we saw that they're going to talk about the steroid lawsuit and the deaths of wrestlers at young ages, which included Benoit. That kind of stuff obviously was going to be covered, so it's not like he didn't know about that. But it's become completely different than what the initial intention was. And so I think that's kind of a fascinating twist that wasn't planned for, because obviously the
Yeah.
news came out while this was going on. But I do think it's interesting because I saw somebody say, and I don't remember who it was, but it was on social media, saying that seeing the people who are involved in the project and giving their opinions kind of makes them not really care about watching it, because most of them have been long-term supporters of Vince throughout all of his bullshit and disgusting behavior. So the likelihood of them really speaking any truth about things that have happened in the past or whatever's going on now seems very unlikely. Um and so like I could agree with that to an extent. Like I'm not sitting here as someone uh like counting down the days until this is released, like I don't really have a desire to watch this because like
Mhm.
I don't know that I care that much, like yeah, a lot of stuff he's done is gross, and like I don't not necessarily want to sit there and relive it. um but I could agree to a point that like yeah, okay, Triple H is there, it's his father-in-law, like what is he really going to say, you know what I mean? Or like what is The
Well, that's
Rock
the thing. What
going
could
to say? So that's what I'm saying is like I think it would be some of the people who don't have any real affiliation with Vince or ever did, maybe their input will be a little bit more interesting to hear than those
Mhm.
who obviously came up through WWE or have these long relationships with him in WWE and outside of WWE. Like, obviously, what they're going to have to say, you're going to take it with a grain of salt because they're going to be PC. Vince, Triple H isn't going to say shit about Vince. That's his father-in-law, and he owes
Yeah.
like everything that he has really to him. So
Mhm.
that is going to be interesting to see how people react, because I think there might be, because of how what it's become, people want to hear the nitty-gritty, the dirt, like the non-PC type of stuff about Vince. And that might not be the case. I don't know. We'll see. But based off of that trailer, it doesn't seem like that's going to be what happens. I don't know.
I'm so fascinated by this doc. I want to see it all.
And
Like
it's six,
I,
is it 6 parts?
yeah, like it's direct. It's from the same people that brought us Tiger King,
Mhm.
and then I think the EP is Bill Simmons. So
Mhm.
Bostonian to you and I
Yeah.
mean, it has everything written all over it that makes me want to watch it. So
I would almost be interested to see what the original thought was of like what this was going to be compared to what it became,